ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. We say always pray when you're going out, pray when you're coming in, and always remember God is in control. So always remember that. We don't control our lives here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're welcome back to PIP Mondays. It's RAMP Mondays, right? Oh yeah. So we got some stuff to talk about today before we get into the real deal of the show. So with DJ Latta, he's on an extended travel. He's not in the country, so whenever he's available, he'll return as he has a lot of issues he's dealing with outside of the country. So we say Godspeed to DJ Latta and stay tuned. You'll see him soon, whenever he's available. All right. Also, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, we'll be having an early show. It's going to be a long show. So we have breaks in between, but we'll be transmitting from another location, and it's going to be a more outdoorsy type deal where normally it would be DJ Ladder who's spinning the tunes, but he's not in the country. So we have Symphony Sound that will be providing the music. So we'll probably be airing mostly on Facebook because of we don't want to be flagged on different other platforms like YouTube and so on. So you check it out. Maybe we'll see how that works out, but we'll be breaking the transmission every so often. We don't want to keep it too long, but it will start broadcasting at about midday on Saturday. That's the 16th. So normally we air in the night, but it's going to be a day event on Saturday. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, comment, and also click the notification bell so you know when we're coming on the show, and also to keep this family friendly show alive. Okay, guys. So Saturday is going to be a big deal. Yeah. So there's a few things that are going on locally before I get into the other bit of news. But let's look at a couple of things that are happening. If you remember, I announced this on my last podcast. This is more of a somber moment with Rakesh's memorial, which is on September 28th on Well Road in New Forest. It's the memorial. It's been a year now since he passed away, and we say condolences to the family. It's still fresh in their minds, and we want you to gather and support the family on the 28th of September. That's down there in New Forest District in Manchester. Do remember that. So also, um, we have Chrissy Boo. That's our great friend, his mother. You know what I mean? So DJ Kino, it's a sad moment. So the grave digging for her is going to be August 17th. August 29th is when the setup is going to be on August 30th at Common Pen District at the Common Pen Church of God of Prophecy. That's where the funeral is going to be. So this, we say condolences to the family, and you're all in our prayers. So ladies and gentlemen, those are community people from my area, and it's sad to see them go. But we say we're praying for the family and praying for their soul. And it's part of life, but it's never welcome. What I mean? So prepare. As I said, keep on praying. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's some fresh news that's going on around um, about the elections in Jamaica. Have you heard? Where have you been? The elections have been announced, and I heard that the PNP came out with it first, or was it the JLP? I don't know. You tell me. Put it in the comment section. So the Jamaican general elections I've been told, and is September 3rd. So Monday the 18th of August is nomination day. Imagine that. So it's very, very close. So all those who are registered to vote in Jamaica, you got to turn out and decide the country's leadership. So let's look at that for a second, and so let's hear a little bit that's going on both sides. Although this news is, you've probably seen it. I don't know. Let's see. But we're gonna play that. We're gonna bring it up on screen because it's a big deal in Jamaica right now. So let's go, guys. Let's hear what they have to say.
Welcome to Jamaican News Today, your daily news with host Esmer Sawston.
Welcome back to Jamaican News Today, your source for the latest updates on Jamaican affairs. Today, we cover the upcoming general elections scheduled for September 3, 2025, including key dates, political developments, and the significance of this election.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has officially announced that Jamaica's next parliamentary general election will be held on Wednesday, September 3, 2025. This date marks the third time Jamaica has held its general election on September 3, following the elections of 2007 and 2020. Historically, September 3 has proven to be a significant date in Jamaica's electoral history, coinciding with notable political victories, including Bruce Golding's victory in 2007 and Holness's second-term win in 2020. Nomination Day is scheduled for Monday, August 18, 2025. On this day, candidates will officially submit their nominations to contest in the upcoming polls. Alongside the national election, local government by-elections will be held in 4 divisions of the Kingston-St. Andrew Municipal Corporation: Chancery Hall, Olympic Gardens, Seaverite Gardens, and Denham Town. These by-elections provide residents in these divisions an opportunity to influence local governance.
Prime Minister Holness, leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, expressed confidence in his party's prospects during a rally in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. Addressing thousands of supporters, he highlighted the JLP's achievements over his 2 terms and indicated that the momentum is with his party. Holness emphasized that the government has navigated numerous challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic and hurricanes, without losing its stride. And he aims to secure a 3rd consecutive term, something no other JLP leader has achieved. Holness also announced that the local government by-elections will coincide with the general election on September 3. He described his administration as the most successful in Jamaica's history, citing its resilience through crises and ongoing development projects. The JLP has prepared a comprehensive booklet listing over 1,000 achievements, which was distributed island-wide to bolster their campaign.
On the opposition side, the People's National Party (PNP) is led by opposition leader Mark Golding. The PNP aims to avoid a 3rd straight electoral defeat, a feat they have not experienced in their nearly 87-year history. The party has a record of 4 consecutive election victories from 1989 to 2002. Golding, who became PNP president in 2020, is vying to become Jamaica's 10th prime minister, promising initiatives such as 50,000 affordable houses, land reform, a $1 billion disability fund, and educational scholarships for first-time.
The upcoming election is widely regarded as the most consequential in recent times. The JLP asserts that this election represents the people's term, emphasizing the foundation it has laid for economic growth and stability. Conversely, the PNP has criticized the JLP, accusing members of enriching themselves and their allies at the expense of the nation, citing past economic mismanagement and corruption issues. Despite ongoing political tensions, the PNP's recent success in the 2024 local government elections has kept their campaign momentum alive under the slogan, "Time Come." With just 23 days until voting, Jamaicans will decide whether Holness will return to Jamaica House or if Golding will lead the country in a new direction.
Stay tuned to Jamaican News Today for the latest updates as the election approaches. Your participation is vital in shaping Jamaica's future. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of Jamaican politics and current affairs.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it there. September 3rd. What do you think? You know, I kind of see the media kind of shifting, kind of skewed towards the Jamaica Labour Party. That's how I don't know how you're seeing it. So comment and let me know how you're looking at it. And there's a lot less coverage of the PNP. I don't know. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but you know, you can tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. You know, there's a like a little skew there. You know what I mean? So that like a little edge being given through the media. But I urge you to do your research, you know, because there's a lot of pros and cons on both sides. Some in my circles are saying that it's even though they do not like the current leadership, but they would like that current leadership to continue to do what they're doing. And others are saying, you know, the current leadership is falling short, and there's a lot of stuff that they don't like. So it's time to change direction. So there's a lot of comments out there, but do your research and tell me who you know in give me in the comment section. Comment and let me know what your preference is, what your pet peeves are, and what questions you're asking of both sides to see. Let's see what your thought process is going into the election. And if you're going to be voting, then you know just put a V in the comment section that you'll be voting. If you're not voting, put an NV. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people are gearing up, and it's game on right now for elections. And we say let the best man win. You know what I mean? So who did the best job in terms of um, portraying or delivering the message that the people wants to hear at this point in time? Because it's the ninth hour as September 3rd approaches. You get what I'm saying? So this is a big deal in Jamaica's history as the current leadership, that's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, seeks his third term, and we have Mark Golding, the opposition. He's seeking to change direction and seeking a first term. So how how do you see it? Comment and tell us. You know what I mean? What do you think is the right direction of the country right now? And that's a big deal. So, guys, we're going to be watching this unfold over the next few weeks and into September 3rd, and see what happens. You know, we're anxiously awaiting what the outcome is going to be for um, both candidates. You know, so is it the incumbent or is it going to be the other guy? So it all boils down to the campaign, don't you think? These last few days are going to sway this, depending on how well they campaign and the message that is put across. There's a lot of burning issues in Jamaica right now, and I have a lot of burning issues where that the country is concerned. A lot of things have not been addressed, and we still have the outpart workers' pensions problem, and we got also other entities that have pension problems that needs to be addressed. And we're going to be diving into that with Mr. Witzer very soon, and there's a lot more in store for that we haven't forgotten. You know what I mean? This is a big deal. You have a lot of hundreds of workers who have worked in Alumni Partners of Jamaica and are not receiving their pension. And it is a big deal. So we haven't forgotten, guys. And this is the prime time to deal with it. Yeah. You know, the election. Yes. Time now. Time come. Time come to deal with the pensions of these men and women who spend, 10, 15, 20, and 30 years working, and now they're not receiving a dime in pension. So what's up with that? You know what I mean? So not only them, you got also, I think, the sugar workers as well, and some other companies that people who are suffering. I don't know what's going on in Jamaica where pensions are concerned, but I always say that when it comes on to a large pool of money in Jamaica, there's always a problem. And we need to get to the bottom of that, because there needs to be transparency, and also we have the people needs confidence in the system that it works for them. And also these poor people, these pensioners, or these people of pension age, they are feeling the brunt because they're not getting their pension. So we need to get to the bottom of that. And I need, during this final stretch of this election, why aren't they talking about it? You know what I mean? Who's going to solve that problem? That's a big deal, because that's a big block of voters, that are waiting to see who's going to address their problem, who's going to come to their rescue. It has not happened yet, and that's a big deal. So we need to put that on the forefront and the front burners right now, because this is a big deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what happens. Send in your comment, like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell. Send in your comment. Tell me what you think. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's election season. This is a big deal. This is when your voice should be loud. You should be campaigning for your party, and also you should be asking the relevant questions of the people who represent you, because it's all talk, and the politicians sell themselves to in order to gain votes. That's what they're there for. They have to gain votes, so they have to work for you. So it's time for you to chime in and start talking to these people who represent you. This is a big deal. And the elections, when you have problems, this is the time to air it loud and clear. You get what I'm saying? So these hundreds of workers of Alumina Partners of Jamaica who are not receiving their pensions and were given a raw deal, this is the time for your voices to be heard. Don't you think? This is the time. It's prime time. And Hudlin Pitta, people, let's see what Hudlin Pitta has to say. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Hudlin Pitta. Hudlin Pitta says people are poorer than before. Glad you mentioned all part pension matching contributions. Yes, it's a big deal, Hudlin, because it is a shame that it's so long that this has been going on, and there's no final resolution to this. Hundreds of workers have retired or are retiring, and they still have not received their pension. So we need to get to the bottom of this. And I say welcome to each and every one. This is Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. And we say it's election season. This is the time to air our growls to those who represent the millions of people in Jamaica, and they're vying for your vote. It's time for them to answer the questions and solve the problems that are really hitting hard at the poor people in Jamaica. Now it's time. As I said, time come. Yeah, time come. Ballot box time now. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, you need to let your voices be heard. Talk to each and every persons that are representing you. You know what I mean? From the local government right all the way up. You know what I mean? So you need to be talking to them. They need to give you an answer. If they need your vote, because voting is on September 3rd. So today is September 11th, I mean, August 11th, so we have some way to go. So they're campaigning. So let your voices be heard. So you'll be hearing from us, and you'll be hearing about the Alpart workers who have been disenfranchised of their pensions. That needs to be resolved, and resolved quick, because there's these families are suffering. So each member has a family member who has a vote. Let your voices be heard, because this needs to be answered. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RAMP Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. We're gonna pause on the election season for a second to mention Kayla Martin. If you remember Kayla Martin, she's now in full swing of getting prepared to go back to school, and also getting prepared to go to the Dominican Republic for that gymnastic tournament. You remember that? Big up to Kayla Martin. So we're gonna dive deep into the competition, and try to get some clips of the competition as we go along, and see how that works out, because we're cheering for Kayla to win the competition. So she's a great athlete from Comapen District in St. Elizabeth. Big up to Kayla Martin every time. Yes. So we say Kayla and her entire team. We say big up to the team as well, her compatriots, and the whole crew, and her trainer as well. Big up to her. And we say, believe me, we're your inner prayers, and we are cheering for all of you. Last weekend we also saw Bowls Oval welcome the Jamaica blind cricketers. It was the first time I've heard of it, and if you go back to my previous podcast, you'll see the clips and pictures of the blind cricketers. But it is a welcome gesture for Bowls Oval to welcome the blind cricketers, and I'm still waiting for the videos of that. I want to show the videos, so I'm gonna dig deep to get it, guys. I gotta show it, because I've never seen blind cricketers before, and I'm wondering, how do they do it. I'm thinking of many ways. I don't know if you're thinking as well how that works, but send me if you have clips of that, videos and so on. Send me a comment in the comment section, and let me know, and I'll contact you for those videos and so on, because I want to see it. I don't know if you've seen blind cricketers play, but if you have, tell me in the comment section. Send me a comment and say, yeah, I've seen it, and I have videos. If you have videos, I'll grab them, and I'll gladly play them here on air. So I'm waiting for you to send me those clips, and I'm waiting for Mr. Bowles to get back to me as well, to tell me what's going on, or give me an update on what happened. You know what I mean? And videos and so on. I'm waiting for that. And if anyone has videos, please send it to me, because we want to see it. I don't know if you want to see it. I want to see it, and I want to show it to you. Goodness gracious me! So congratulations to Bowls Oval for hosting the blind cricketers. Oh yeah, that's a big deal. So also we have the health fair that went on with Kay's mobile health fair. You remember that happened, and you had the free doctors, the back to school, free medical checks for back to school students. You have a lot of back to school events that are happening in South Central Jamaica, in Alligator Pond, in New Forest, and all around the area. You know, Common Pen, so on Junction, and the entire area. So there's a lot of benevolence. But you got to send your clips in, guys, and when you're doing these things, let me highlight them for you, because this is important for all the youngsters to see that there a lot of people there's a lot of people in South Central Jamaica and across Jamaica who are benevolent, and they're doing their part to make sure that the youngsters have all the tools that they need to get back to school, and that's a beautiful thing, and we say hats off to them. It's a big deal. I've also been told that, and I've saw that Ives Hardware also had a back to school giveaway, and that's a big deal. Congratulations!
Congratulations, well done.
That's Martin Ives. Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, it's amazing. So we say congratulations to those who are doing their part for the youngsters of Jamaica, and especially those in South Central Jamaica. These youngsters need all the help they can get, because it's hard times and things are expensive there. And we say hats off to them. Also, Hudlin, what you're saying, I'm hoping to meet your brother as soon as who was part of the team who signed the contract, kept lasting. Okay. Uh, Definitely, Hudlin. We're coming there, and we're gonna have a productive meeting, and moving forward. So, keep keep liking, sharing, and subscribing, commenting, and so on, and keep clicking that notification bell so you know what's going on. So we're gonna make some huge announcements very, very, very soon. So keep watching, and we say hats off to everyone who's watching at this time. And we have not forgotten the Alpart workers, and it's on top of our agenda, because that's a big deal. What's going on right now with the people who have worked 10, 15, 20, and 30 years and are not receiving their pension. So we have not forgotten, and that's top of our agenda. So stay tuned. So as we move forward, there's a lot of other gatherings going on in South Central Jamaica, and we're going to touch back on the election season, which September 3rd is the general elections in Jamaica, and we say it is a big deal. However, on the other side of the shore, um, this is in the United States. Did you know that the U.S. government is encouraging a lot of people to self-deport? Did you know that? Let's play a clip of that so you can see what's going on this side of the shore, because it's extremely important that I tell a lot of our people in the diaspora. I need to highlight this so you know what's going on this side of the shore. It is a big deal, guys, and you got to be aware of what is happening on this side of the shore. So let's cue that up. Here we go, and we're gonna bring in.
Be careful with your read of
Jackie.
this post from USCIS, which is encouraging people to self deport. And it also talked about being forgiven. What exactly are they talking about will be forgiven here? It is the fine, guys. Whatever that fine is that they're going to attach to your overstay. For some of our clients who we've seen over the last few weeks, their big fine is $1.8 million for not leaving the United States after getting a removal order. USCIS says here we encourage all aliens in the United States illegally to self-deport using DHS CBP Home app. Through the app, you'll receive a complimentary plane ticket home, a $1,000 exit bonus upon your return home. And this is where some people can misunderstand what they're saying. and any unpaid fines for failing to depart previously will be forgiven. So the forgiveness is connected to the fine. It is not connected to your unlawful presence in the United States. They have not changed the laws or the rules regarding unlawful presence in the United States. So, for many people, when they leave, they will be banned from returning to the United States for 10 years unless they somehow qualify for a waiver to forgive them of their unlawful presence in the United States. And for some people, they'll need more forgiveness because maybe they have other immigration violations on their record. Be careful with your read of this post from USCIS.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what the clarification there is, because there was a misconception, and I was misconceived too until I read it a little bit more. The self deportation, the as Attorney Matt Bean said, the emphasis is on the fines. That's what will be eliminated, not the ban itself or bar from the United States. That has not changed. So those who are here unlawfully will have the opportunity to self-deport and get rid of the fine, but they will not get rid of the bar. That's the 5 or 10 year bar. However, you have to speak to an immigration attorney, an immigration specialist, to get the information that you need so that you know what your options are if you're able to get a waiver in your circumstances if you intend to return. So you need to know before you go. But that was a misconception, and I'm happy that Attorney Matt Bean cleared that up. However, let's look at a couple more clips here. Let's talk about the 2 year green card and the troubles that a lot of people face with their conditional green card. And this is a big deal. And I want to share this with you so that you can understand some of the aspects of what is going on where this is concerned. So let's bring that on screen. And here we go. Here we go, guys.
2 year green card is where I see a lot of people getting into trouble, being placed in removal because they're just not doing it right. I'm speaking primarily to those of you who had gotten a 2 year green card known as the conditional residency status or card through marriage. And here's where they get it wrong. The relationship goes south shortly after they get their 2 year green card. And so now they think, well, where do I go from here? I'll just do this on my own. Obviously, right? But the government will only allow you to do it on your own under certain circumstances. Number one, if you can prove to them that your marriage was genuine, it was real, but it ended because of divorce. Sounds easy, but it's not always very easy to prove that it was a genuine marriage when it falls apart after getting that 2 year green card. The second explanation that you could provide to them is you entered into this genuine marriage, but it ended because of abuse. Maybe it was a lot of emotional distress and baggage. It could have very well also been physical abuse. Well, this reasoning can certainly help if you're able to prove that you were, in fact, abused in this marriage, and also the fact that it was genuine. Another way that you could go about this is proving that you just suffered from extreme hardship during that time when you had that 2 year green card, that you had a lot going on and you suffered. As a matter of fact, if you were to go back to your home country, you will continue to suffer or maybe even suffer even more. This is not as easy as it sounds, guys. And sometimes people with this 2 year green card can be tied up for more than 10 years trying to get the 10 year green card. And now, under this Trump administration, they are very aggressive and serious about placing these individuals in removal proceeding once your 2 year period or status ends. It's removal for a lot of people. So you've got to get this one right, guys. 2 year green card is where I see a lot of people getting into trouble, being placed in removal because they're just not doing it right. I'm speaking primarily to.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, you cannot make a mistake on your applications or the process. So this is where you need an immigration specialist or an immigration attorney to assist you and give you all the information that you need, and also to complete these complicated applications for you, because it's a minefield. And I want to touch on something else that is looming right now, and it's about to happen. And this has to do with the bond that for visitors who are coming to the country, those who are seeking a B1, B2 visa. This is a big deal. You got to listen up, because this is rolling out as we speak, and you've got to understand what is going on. So let's dive into that quickly and let Attorney McBean give you an insight on
The
that.
U.S. government will be requiring certain visitors to pay a huge bond when they come to the United States on the B1, B2 visa. This is the visa bond pilot program that they are starting on August 20th, 2025. And there are 2 countries already identified to be part of this pilot program. Not surprisingly, they are 2 African countries, Malawi and Zambia. During an interview at a U.S. embassy for this visitor visa, individuals will be told that they need a bond, and they need to post that bond by paying the U.S. government at a link that the embassy will send to them. They must pay either $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000. A bond does not guarantee that they're going to actually get the visa. Folks will be able to get their money back, provided that they leave the United States at the time when they're supposed to leave. In other words, they cannot overstay. It's quite possible, friends, that at the time an individual seeks to adjust his or her status here in the U.S. or go through an asylum process here in the U.S., that they're going to use this bond breach determination against him or her. There is a way to get your money back. Certainly, the bond will be canceled and the money will automatically be returned to the visa holder if you do not overstay your visa, or if you do not travel to the United States before the expiration of the visa, or you had applied for and was denied admission to the United States at a U.S. port of entry. Guys, this is absurd. It starts with these 2 sub-Saharan African countries. Not surprisingly, more countries can be added with very little notice. I'm covering all things related to Trump immigration changes. Follow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, this is pilot program is rolling out as we speak, and it's going to expand from there. So you got to watch out carefully for what is going on here. So speak to an immigration specialist, speak to an immigration attorney, and know before you go, because this is a big deal. Because now it's rolling out on August 20th. This is a big deal, and it's a major change. And that's the pilot program, as you heard. 2 sub-Saharan um, African countries are the first up in the limelight. So it will expand from there. So you got to keep, like, share, subscribe, comment, and click that notification bell as we follow all of these changes that are going on, so that you know. And if you need more information, you can always contact me on the numbers below. It's scrolling down below, or through the social media. You know, just click like, share, subscribe, comment, and click that notification bell so we know when you're coming on. Andrew Josephs is online, so welcome to the show, Andrew Josephs. So here we go. He said, "All black bullfrog and a baby Yoda." That well, Andrew, let's keep it clean. Okay, so welcome to the show, Andrew, and we appreciate your comments, but let's keep it clean, okay? So I don't know what you mean there, but I won't dive into that. Um, so ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of changes going on, and we want to make sure we bring these changes to you as they appear. So there's also a lot of changes, tough changes in the family applications, for U.S. based residents and U.S. citizens applying for their families abroad or in the United States. There's a lot of tough changes that are coming up, and we want to make sure that you know. and be aware of these tough changes that are going on. So I'm going to bring on Attorney McBean again and let her explain to you these tough changes that are happening. So let's go, guys. We're gonna bring her on screen right now, and here we go. As we bring her on screen right now, here she is. Let's hear what she has to say.
Two immigration changes you should really be aware of. Number one, USCIS is now saying they're only going to give folks one bite at the apple. They recently updated their policies to inform us that they will not be issuing as many requests for evidence or notice of intent to denies anymore. In times past, during normal times, if you made a mistake with your case, for instance, let's say you might have missed some things on the application, or you didn't include all of the evidence that they were seeking from you during your family-based process, they would send you a nice little request for evidence asking you to cure this problem within X number of days, and then they will continue to process your paperwork after you've cured the problem. Now they're saying that they're going to reduce the amount of requests for evidence that they're going to send out to folks. They're just not going to do it like that anymore. They will just flat out deny your case if it's a serious problem, and they would normally send you a notice of intent to deny the case. They're saying no, they're going to eliminate that process as well, or decrease the number of NOIDs that they send out, and they will just flat out deny the case. If they deny the case, they are looking now to place individuals in removal proceedings. For some of you, this is not going to be a big deal, and it will not end for you there with a notice to appear in immigration court. In fact, you can still get your green card or go all the way until the end successfully during the removal process, or your removal process can end and then you go back over to USCIS for another chance with the green card. So it's not the end of the world for many people, but for some others, it will create a huge problem if they're placed in removal proceedings, because for some of you, you'll need to work with an immigration attorney to help you navigate those very serious issues that will arise from being placed in removal. Your family-based petition needs to be properly prepared with all of the evidence to prove the family relationship before you submit that case. Friends, I'm covering all things related to Trump immigration changes. Follow for more.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard it, there's a lot going on. There's a lot more scrutinization. There's a lot less leeway. There's the leniency, and this request for evidence, as you heard from Attorney McBean, they're not so much likely to do that in the future. So, if you make a mistake or you leave something out, then the chances of the case being being denied is very high. It's a high chance of that happening if you do not get it right the first time. So you got to speak to an immigration attorney, an immigration specialist, and also know before you go. So before you fill these application out, you got to make sure you have all your ducks in a row. It's a lot to know. So, you can always contact me. I'll point you in the right direction. So therefore you got to be careful, because you lose. It's a lot of money now to file these applications, and the prices have gone up, and the possibility of them going up some more is very likely. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not waste your money. And as we stroll along, there's a lot of good news out there. There's still good immigration, um, great immigration going on. The speed at which things are going, they're speeding up. So on the good side, let's hear again from Attorney McBean as she tells you what's going on the good news side. So let's get some good news in here, guys, from Attorney McBean. So let's go and bring her on the stage so she can tell you about the great news. The visa bulletins for this month are looking good, and it's time for you to hear that from Attorney McBean. Let's bring her on the screen, and let's go, guys. Here we go.
status and you have not worked without authorization, you are friends. It's true that great news is found in the August 2024 visa bulletin for spouses of green card holders. Finally, however, keep in mind that it only helps those who have a priority date before June, guys, before the June 2024 date in the bulletin. And for those of you who are in that position and you're here in the United States in lawful status and you have not worked without authorization, you are eligible to now apply for adjustment of status for the green card. It's a little tricky. If you need more help with this, be sure to contact us. Friend.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, good news. You know, things are moving, and it's moving real fast. And I'm going to bring up Brad Bernstein to give you some other good news as well regarding some changes within the immigration field. So let's do this. Let's bring him on stage here, and so he can share that good news with you. So let's bring up Brad Bernstein uh, about the preponderance of the evidence. So it's a welcome change, guys, and this is a big deal. You want to hear this and share this with all your family and friends. So let's bring Brad on, and here we go.
Everybody should know this one rule before they file anything with immigration. 51% of the evidence says you're entitled to your immigration benefit, and 49% says you're not. You win. It's called the preponderance of evidence rule. And what it says is if you're more likely telling the truth than not, or if all your documentation says you're more likely entitled to a green card than you're not, then you're entitled to a green card. Immigration is not a criminal proceeding where you have to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. And immigration officers hold a lot of people to proving beyond a reasonable doubt. Yet just recently, immigration wrote in their policy manuals, all officers need to use the preponderance of evidence rule. Now that's a big deal. For example, you go on a marriage interview and you and your spouse miss one or two questions, but 95% of the other evidence says you're in a bona fide marriage, you should be approved. You file for your parent, but your parent's name's not on your birth certificate. Or what about if you have a late birth registration? You have baptismal certificates, school records, even DNA, the case should be approved. And what about all the applications where there's typos in somebody's name, where one document has your last name ending in an A and another document has your last name ending in an O? If all the preponderance of the evidence says this is who you are, then you should be approved. The preponderance of evidence rule can save your case, but only if you know it, and only if you submit all the required evidence up front with your application.
Okay, guys, that's a big deal. As that last bit, what Brad said, all the evidence have to be should be presented up front, so you don't leave anything out. You know, once you've put all your evidence forward, and when he talks about the preponderance of the evidence, if it weighs in your favor, if 51% of that is in your favor, then you should be approved. You know what I mean? So therefore, if you need more information on that, you got the links down below. We can dive more into that. Just give us a call. Send us a comment if you want more information there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've got one more video to show you, and this has to do with the reentry into the U.S. of green card holders, something that you should think about. And I'm gonna let Brad Bernstein give you that information. Then we'll talk about it after he's presented it to you. So here we go. Let's share that with you, and then we'll move on from there to comment on it. So let's go. Here we go. Here goes Brad.
When you have a green card and travel abroad and return back to the United States, and then you show up in the airport at that window with your green card and passport, the immigration officer is going to make a determination. Are you an arriving alien or are you a returning resident? If you're a returning resident, that means you have no problems. You should be able to be screened and get through relatively quickly. If the immigration officer thinks you're an arriving alien, you're going to secondary. An arriving alien could possibly be someone who stayed out of the United States for too long. Anybody who's been engaged in illegal activity, whether before they left for their trip or during their trip. Anybody who traveled outside of the United States while in removal proceedings, anybody who has committed a crime unless they have a waiver, and anybody that immigration suspects committed fraud in their immigration process, and that's usually around marriage fraud. When you go to secondary, you could be held for minutes or several hours. CBP is going to ask you a lot of questions, run checks, collect your background information. This is when your laptop or cell phone may be searched or even information downloaded from it. That is why you should always travel with the contact information for your lawyer and your consulate on a separate piece of paper. Let your family know your travel plans and be ready for somebody to advocate on your behalf with your attorney should you be held. When you have a green card.
So you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. That is vital information that you should know when you're traveling on a green card. So some people think that they're okay when they have other issues going on, but I always say no before you go, and always have your immigration specialist or your immigration attorney's information or your family members' information ready and handy, so that if something, you're stopped at the border for whatever reason that is, then always have yourself prepared so that someone can represent you or speak on your behalf. So you heard it from Brad Bernstein, and both Brad Bernstein and Attorney McBean, they're very prominent attorneys here in the United States. So, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot say you didn't know. So let's move on to a few other stuff that is happening in our community. And I want to touch on, no, let's go into national first. As you know, no, let's go Jamaica. That's Kingston. Let's go to Kingston and then we go into national. So up is Rubber Dub Thursdays. On August 14th, that's this Thursday, we'll be hosting the Major Mackerel Benefit Show and the return of the Clash 45 shootout. And it says repeat or defeat. It's a big deal. I see Don Mafia up there and a host of other leading artists will be there to support the event. So turn out if you're around. It's a big deal for Rubber Dub Thursday. So check it out, guys. So also when we go to Europe, we have Burger Bash. That's Saturday, August 23rd with Andrew British. He presents this year. It's a year-to-year event, a big deal in London, and it's the Batty Rider and Trainers Edition at a plush venue in South London. So, hosted by Forever Sasha. So this is a big deal. 24 pounds 99 pence for admission. So 25 pounds. You know it go. Hey Andrew, what kind of thing that? The 1 pence, although it's valid, I will it in Jamaica still, but this is a big deal. I wanted to travel there, but I have other plans, so I won't be there until later in the year. So that's a big deal. So if you're in London, check out Virgo Bash on August 23rd, 2025. That's a big deal. So as you know, tonight, Monday night, is also Crazy Mondays at Mel's Bar. That's at Eon's Lawn in New Forest District in Manchester. So tonight you have a big deal going on. Triple Artillery, DJ Deshaun, and Team British. So it's a big deal there. August. That's tonight. Every Mondays, Crazy Mondays. It's a big deal in New Forest District in Manchester. So check it out, guys. This is going on right now. If you're there, check it out. Easy to Misha from Sierra District. That's a big deal. Big Misha at the right spot. That's next to the Mystic Inn. And also let's check out the original Boxing Day event. This is later on down the year. We're gonna touch on this some more It's December 26th. It's the same day that O'Neill Ashmead has his year-to-year event. And this one is going to be a turn it up, but O'Neill Ashmead, that's Treddy, that's my nephew, has his event in Sierra District on Boxing Day. So we'll be talking about that further closer to the date when I get the event poster. And Randy and Otis, that's Officer Randy Bartley and Otis Miller, presents the original Boxing Day event. They'll be having Eagle Force and also DJ Fire Blacks, Big Thing Among a Tree Bar, Turn It Top Manchester. So that's going to be a big deal, guys. So check it out. So let's kind of wrap it up for tonight. Do remember, on Monday, it's going to be nomination day in Jamaica, and September 3rd is going to be the general election day when you decide who's going to lead the country of Jamaica. It's up to you. So, and also you should know that you always pray when you're going out, pray when you're coming in. Always remember, God is in control. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of this show. And we say, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell to know when we're coming on a show live. We say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, click that notification bell. And as I said, on Saturday, we're going to start at 12 noon. It's a big deal on Saturday as we will be out and about, and you're going to hear some real good music. And we're sorry that DJ Latta is not going to be here. He's off. He's out of the country, and he won't be back for a while. But whenever he turns up, you'll see him live. So normally he will be the one playing the music, but we have another sound system called Symphony Sound. It's a great Jamaican sound system, and they play great music. So you'll be thrilled to that. So we'll be probably be on Facebook and also Instagram and other platforms. I don't think YouTube is going to allow us to play most of those music, so we may get shut down real quick. So it's gonna start at noon, and it goes all the way to the evening. So we'll be breaking transmission in between, maybe every half an hour or an hour. So between times. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell. And we say, God bless, stay tuned, and we'll see you at the next show. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. RAMP Promotions is at you.